Hello everyone, welcome back to Rain World. Very important question that I ask is all the audio stuff working? Can you hear me? Can you hear the game and the music? Here's some game sounds. Is everything sounding normal? Sounds fine. Music could be a bit quieter. Oh, I actually see that. I don't think this is a loud song. Well, okay. Actually, I know something that can change that. I messed around with a bunch of audio settings recently. What I'm trying to do, this might actually be too quiet now. My goal is to, okay, you know what? Hold up. Gaining subs. I've been slowly gaining subs for like a year now. Oh, cursor. Yeah, whatever. Just deal with that. Yeah, just let me know if everything sounds normal. But I don't really have a goal today. I'm just playing the game. I don't know. I've kind of felt maybe burnt out of Rain World recently. To no one's surprise. And I don't know how motivated I am to keep doing speedruns. That's the main thing. What can I do for speedruns? I could try to improve the times that I already have, right? Try to improve Saint, or Rivulet, or Gourmand, or Monk. I think the most interesting thing right now is Hunter. So that's a very new category for me, right? So yeah, I think I'll do more Hunter runs in the near future. I may have gotten very lucky with one of my Hunter attempts that I did. So I made it to Subterranean, and I died to a Scavenger, I think. I don't remember completely. There's a chance that that one run was an outlier, was like very lucky. And if I attempt to do it more in the future, I'm gonna like die a lot more often. Same with Spearmaster, it's like, oh, this feels pretty easy at the start, but then eventually it kind of falls apart. After, you know, so many attempts. And as for Spearmaster, I don't think I'm ever going to actually finish the run. I can't really see that happening. Yeah, I guess I have to Karma Cash. I do have another idea though for some speedrun related stuff that I can try that isn't as frustrating. The main thing that I've been thinking about for a long time is making guides for speedrunners. But it's something that I've never really thought about actually putting effort into. One, because I'm just like bad at doing stuff like that in general. But also there's such a small number of people actually doing speedruns that it feels like kind of a waste to put in so much effort for like 5 people maybe. I mean, there's like at least like a handful, there's a decent amount of speedrunners, but you know, there's so many different categories that those speedrunners are going to be split across like so many different categories. I can make a guide for Monk Story Percent, and there's like 4 people who I know have done that category, including myself. So realistically, it's only like 3 people who might actually benefit from a guide like that. And I don't know how much those 3 people care about improving Monk 30% specifically. Do they want to like go for like the best possible strategies and try to get the best time? Or is it just because it's like it's fun to speedrun the game and they don't want to take it too seriously, or they just want to play Monk because it's easier than the other characters? Something more broad. Speedrun guide in general. I think Shrub made something like that. Or maybe he's working on it. I don't know, but maybe that would be better. I definitely see people on the Rain World Discord. They will say things like, I'm interested in trying to speedrun this game, but I don't even know where to start. Which is weird for me to hear. I'm really doing this wrong. It's weird for me to hear that because you don't need to know anything to do speedruns. As long as you've beaten the game before. If you've beaten the game, you can speedrun it. Try to get to the end as fast as possible. You're probably going to be really slow on your first attempt if you really don't know anything. You might go the wrong way, you might forget how to like activate the ending or whatever. Your movement is going to be great. You might die a few times, you might have to reset. Who knows, really, but just knowing, you could honestly, the biggest resource is to watch a run from another speedrunner, like maybe watch the world record, or if that's too daunting, watch just another random run on the leaderboards. If you really want to, you can. Okay, hold up, give me a second. If you really wanted to, you could watch the slowest run on the leaderboards and just copy what they do, because it's probably going to be somewhat achievable if you're new to speedrunning. And then if you beat that time, then look at a faster run and try to copy what they do. But also what I've heard from other players from that approach is that a run, a PB or a world record run, isn't necessarily going to be the best example. They might improvise, they might have bad RNG or good RNG. You know, it's maybe not exactly representative of what the speedrun is usually like. If the goal is to learn the best possible speedrun strategy, then it's definitely not going to be the best resource, because they're going to make mistakes. And if they make a mistake in a room, you're not going to know what the actual best strategy is. There's something else that they could have done that would have been way better, but they mess it up, and now you don't know what to do. Or maybe there's a room with a lot of creatures, but in the world record run they got really lucky and they didn't have to deal with any creatures in that room. But then that means that when you try to do the run yourself, you're not going to be prepared for how many creatures are in that room. so far, the idea that I've had for the most reasonable way to make a guide for speedruns is to basically just have an example run. Basically just one speedrun that has no creatures, so there's no elements of RNG. And it basically just shows what the best movement is for every room. And you can watch that run and just see like, okay, these are the rooms that you go through. This is the movement that you should do in each room. Plus, I think it could include a little like tracker of like which creatures you're likely to encounter for each room. So for this room example, I know that there's white lizards and pink lizards in this room, and vultures, especially for the next area. In this room, you're likely to see vultures, king vultures. And so I can have a little thing in the corner that says like creatures that you're likely to see in this room. Vultures, white lizards, you know, maybe ranked by like how common or how dangerous they are. So that way, you know, even though there's no creatures in the run, and even though like any other run would show like a random array of creatures, you could just see immediately like, okay, watch out for these creatures in this room. You would just know immediately. That's the thing that I was thinking about doing. However, that would require to record a lot of gameplay. Can you slow down? Can't follow what's happening. Sorry, this is actually a speedrun, so I can't slow down. But yeah, I mean, like a nice example video would let you see exactly how to do it. Each room. But hello, welcome to the stream. But yeah, like having to record so many runs, and I was thinking like, should I approach it like a segmented speedrun, where you know I record every room individually and then stitch together the best runs of each room. That way, I really know that it is the best possible movement. These kinds of videos tend to age very poorly. Do you mean like the videos that show like the best routes or the best movement? As in like new strategies might be found that would make it outdated? Or are you referring to something else? But even if they were outdated, I think an outdated guide is better than no guide at all, right? Probably. Potentially. Oops. That was almost bad. Not like it matters. So I was thinking, like, this is maybe something that I could do on stream. Best movement specifically. The variation between... Yeah. That was another thing I was thinking about. Where even if I were to do a video that was like, here's the best movement to do in each room, you know, it's kind of preference based anyway. Individual runners might do different movements that they prefer, even if it's slower. Or maybe the fastest possible movement is just unrealistic for normal players in like an actual run, where it's not worth the time save. Though I have wall pounces turned off. I might have wall pounces turned off. That didn't work at all. No, I definitely don't, because I did the wall pounce earlier. This is going to be difficult, by the way. This segment, because it's raining. I think this is possible as Hunter. Oh. Yeah, we're good. That's the last possible room where the rain can be dangerous. But you can barely make it up if you have Hunter mobility. Yeah, because I was thinking like maybe I could include like, okay, here's some alternate ways to do this room. You know, here's like the fastest method, here's like a safer method, you know. But then it's like suddenly the video becomes very bloated with like, do you want to include every single special strategy you can do in every single room. You make different videos for different skill levels. Like, here's the best possible movements that I'm aware of, and here's like some intermediate movement, here's like some beginner movement. Like, I don't know. that feels unnecessary. I think that what's kind of nice about random movement in speedruns is that you can't improvise so much. You can kind of just make up the movement as you go, and it still is pretty good, you know? Not every player is like following an exact blueprint of like, here's like do a slide on this room or on this like platform, and then, you know, jump here and do a backflip, and, you know, you're never like following an exact set of instructions. Unless you want to, you know. And if you really care about getting it the best possible time, if you're doing like any percents, right? You're going for a really competitive category that's really short, you know, you're gonna want to like find the best possible movement. But I was thinking I could maybe stream it and just use recordings from the stream, like in a. I actually have like a reason to record. Because I don't really have much motivation to like record something on my own, honestly. And maybe I could just do one run. Just do run. Don't try to like stitch anything together. Just be like a decent example. Hello everyone who's joined recently. Welcome to the stream. So the thing that I've been messing around with on OBS is trying to find a way to separate audio tracks. Because I don't like the idea of my voice being in a speedrun guide, especially from a stream where I'm just talking about random stuff, probably. And it's something that I don't like about doing runs on stream anyway. The fact that I could be talking about, like, anything, really. But then if I get a run on stream, then I need to, like, upload that to the leaderboards, including my voice and whatever I'm talking about. But I figured out a way to hopefully separate the audio such that the recordings don't include anything from the microphone. So I could, So I could do runs and record them and use those as the, like, example runs. And, like, feel better about uploading them, actually. Although, you know, I would need to keep track of, like, which creatures show up if I want to include that information. But it's something that I've kind of, like, I kind of know intuitively from doing a lot of runs. That random game maker game needs a shout out, and yeah, exactly. I think it's nice for the stream to be able to like talk with people. But for like a video, if you're just watching the run, then like who cares about that? But if it's for a guide video, I mean, I guess for speedrun it's not a huge deal, but for a guide video, you know, the focus is on the run, not that it's a stream. So that's something that I might think about trying out in the near future. Basically doing runs with no creatures. And if I get a really good run, then I'll use that as an example to make like a guide out of, sort of. And also, it sounds more fun to actually play doing runs with no creatures. And I've thought about this before, that I, you know, kind of want to do, or I kind of wish that no creature runs were like their own category on the leaderboards, which is unrealistic because there's so many categories already. to make a no creature variation of every single run is unrealistic, and no one would like, or like very few people would play those categories, you know. I mean, the way that categories work is that if 3 people do a run, then it's a category, right? You know, if people are doing it, then it's a thing. But I don't know how many people are interested, or if I want to go around and try to convince people to try out a new category that involves getting a mod so console players are excluded. But I've realized with Rain World speedruns is that, you know, the creatures are an important part of the game, definitely, but they're probably my least favorite part of speedruns, just because of the randomness. And not saying that there's no skill involved. There's definitely skill involved in like avoiding creatures, but no matter what happens, no matter how skilled you are, if a creature shows up, you're always going to lose time. That's just how it is. Anything that you do to avoid a creature is slower than the alternative of just running by as if there was no creature there at all. And you know, that can happen. You can't just like run by, pretend the creature isn't there, and maybe you'll get lucky. Or you don't get lucky and you just die and you lose the run. Or you manage to get past the creature and you don't save any time. You know, the time is still neutral compared to if the creature wasn't there. So creatures only make the run worse. And, you know, skill just, like, helps make that more consistent. And I guess it kind of sounds weird what I'm saying. Like, on average, you know, more skill with dealing with creatures does make the runs better and make the RNG less significant. Maybe it just depends on the category. Some categories kind of, are a lot more punishing in terms of, when you make a mistake, you know? It's either like you make a mistake and you lose a few seconds, or you make a mistake and you die and you have to like reset the whole thing after like an hour-long run. Better in Rainbow because they have consistent spawns. Yeah, it's like they're not completely random. That's definitely true. You can roughly predict where there's going to be creatures. But sometimes, like, it's such a dangerous creature that whether the creature is there or not is, like, it affects whether the run will be good or not, you know? Like, this one creature affects the run so significantly. It's just a coin flip, basically. I was thinking it would be cool if there was, like, a seed. Like, seeded runs, which is a weird thing to say for Rain World, but, like, imagine a run could have a seed. And the seed would control creature behavior, such that creatures will always go to the same rooms. They will always like chase after the same creatures, and so if you're doing a run, what that would end up doing is that you would always encounter creatures in the same rooms. You know, it's like if it gets to this room at this time, then a white lizard will always be there, and if it gets to this room at this time, then there's always going to be a vulture fighting a blue lizard here. You know. And so if your speedrun is consistent, then the creatures will be consistent. You can like learn to protect. Like creatures are still going to be there. They're still going to be like randomly arranged across the world. Maybe there'd be that create a weird situation where you like want to look for a good seed with like no creatures at all. But that's similar to the way other games work, right? That don't have any random elements, where creatures or enemies are just arranged in rooms and you just learn to deal with them how they are. But like any like category that involves like modifying the game so much, it's not going to be a real category. Unless you really convince a lot of people to try it out. before I was trying to get games running. Well, good luck with that. I hope that works out. Also, welcome to the stream if you want to stick around. Yeah, there are like strategies with the shelters. Like early on when I was doing rivulet storage descents, taking a different shelter would make side lizards more or less likely to show up in the gutter. But you know, eventually you end up like converging on like one strategy that is the best for speed, and then the creatures are just, you just have to deal with what you get. I mean, in Minecraft, it is random, but I think it's so random that it averages out. I mean, I don't really understand the appeal of Minecraft speedruns because it is so random. You are literally just like spending most of your time resetting runs, looking for the perfect seed. I guess you could like just have fun with it and like try to attempt every seed that you get. And, like no matter what happens, just try to beat the game, even if you have a bad start. But you know, if you're really going for a competitive time, you do just have to restart over and over again. And you know, they literally have tools like that optimize the process of resetting for runs, you know, or like opening up multiple instances of the game, which I don't know if my computer would like that. Not like I'm gonna try to do that. No more whale type spoilers. You don't know. I could say anything. You know, I have the power. I could spoil any game that I want right now, and you can't do anything about it. I'm not going to. I do want to talk about Animal Well more, but I'll say that for later, and I will I'll let you know before I do. Villain arc, yeah. Yeah, the moment you hear any spoilers at all, just turn off the computer, Alt F4. But just personally, I think maybe it's because I care too much about getting world records or improving my times like to an excessive degree, such that you know, insignificant creature RNG makes a difference on getting world record or not. So it affects me more than players who just play the game casually or speedrun the game casually, and they don't really care about that. This is a threat. Thank you. So like I don't like playing with creatures. So you know, personally I just enjoy these no creature runs more. So if I'm going to speedrun this game more, then it's probably going to be in the form of no creature runs. If I'm going to do that, then I might as well try to also make it into like those guide videos I was talking about, you know. That's what I'm thinking. So I might look into that soon. There's some other things that I want to try out that aren't Rain World still. I've actually considered speedrunning Animal Well. I actually enjoy the speedrun of that so far. So I might do some streams with that, which would obviously include spoilers. So I'm thinking of waiting a little bit, maybe like a week. So anyone who's interested in Animal Well will have probably completed at least the base game. Is that spoilers to say that? I mean, you guys know how Animal Well works, right? There's like a trillion secrets. So just beating the game is actually quite simple. If you don't care about any of the optional stuff. But yeah, I'll wait a bit, but I do want to do some speedruns of that game. Oh. Okay, I'm definitely not doing the right routes in this room, but I don't really care. I've died so many times in this room. The white lizard right there. You think I would have learned or something? There's some other games that I want to play. I don't know how much I want to like try to do other things. Because I have a lot of ideas for things that I could stream, but I don't know if I want to do them just yet, you know? And so I could just go all in and like, forget about Rain World. Rain World, what's that game? You know? But probably not. I probably do want to stick with it for longer. I guess there's also the challenges, right? I was doing that consistently for a while. Honestly, the more difficult, or should I say more inconsistent challenges have kind of ruined my motivation for doing them. Like especially the spear pinning ones, or the bat spear glitch. I think I'll have to continue with them eventually, but yeah, they're definitely not like fun little challenges to just like, you know, I'll complete a few like in a day. It's more like spend the entire day like working on a single like really annoying and inconsistent challenge. So progress is really slowed down. But I guess the whole point is that it is a long-term goal, not just like a quick thing to complete. If I really cared about completing it as soon as possible, you know, I would have approached it differently. Also, that sounds really annoying. Hey, that's dangerous. I probably wouldn't risk that in a real run. Whoa, don't fall down there. Ooh, the gravity didn't quite switch yet. It's a very strange gravity cycle. I guess, you know, for Rain World streams, you can expect Hunter story percents. And miscellaneous creatureless runs. Okay, that's good. It probably would have been faster just to wait out the previous gravity cycle instead of doing all of this. And then to do the normal strat. Hello, welcome to the stream. I'm not doing real runs right now, but thank you anyways. Might be a good cycle. That was almost good. that actually worked. Just barely didn't. No, I don't actually have the game in Chinese or Japanese. So time loss. So how everyone's doing? We're gonna be waiting here for like 5 minutes. What will you do if I just skip the song when it comes by? I can do that if I want. I think that arena mode could be canon or sandbox mode. Like it could just be like a little area where like iterators experiment with creatures and interactions between them, or a simulation. Because Moon, like when Moon is like searching up all the different creatures, they use the same icons that are in arena mode, right? I guess I shouldn't say arena mode, in like sandbox mode. No one on Twitch? Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I mean, that's not uncommon. Pick the Pearl Moon. I think it depends. I think that if a streamer has Twitch affiliate, then they're more likely to have an audience on Twitch, obviously. But also, you know, there's gonna be more features. You know, you can like donate or subscribe, or there's like channel points and maybe like predictions or like other things going on Twitch. YouTube doesn't really have the same tools. So like but between YouTube and Twitch, there's gonna be more stuff going on Twitch. Also, any like stream integration stuff in games, it's always called Twitch integration, right? Because there's not that stuff with YouTube. I mean, like even Rain World has a mod for it, where you can use like channel point redeems on Twitch for like spawning creatures and such, which I don't have good experiences with that. It's honestly too chaotic and just completely random, and there's also like way too many redeems that like mess with your controls. Yeah, I specifically have a feature enabled on YouTube that allows you to rewind the stream, and it's something. It's like I hear a lot of people when they talk about what's better about YouTube streams, it's being able to like rewind and like rewatch sections. If I actually decrease the latency on the stream, turn my Twitch engine just like up. I mean, stuff like that is like a lot easier to get to work on Twitch. I think maybe I'm just making that up, but I've seen it on YouTube too, where like Twitch or the YouTube chat controls like the player in the game. I've seen that before. But if I decrease the latency such that the stream was less delayed, you wouldn't be able to rewind anymore. I don't know why that's how it works. Maybe something complicated going on. But yeah, I would rather not have. I'd rather be able to like rewind the stream, because if you like miss it a little bit, you can like catch up on like a higher speed, get back to like the live part. Or if you just want to see something happen again, you don't need to like clip it like you do on Twitch. Like if something happens on Twitch and you want to like watch it again, you need to go to the channel's main like page, go to their past broadcasts, and then watch the current stream VOD. Just to like rewind a few seconds to see something again. And on YouTube you can just like go back 10 seconds and there it is, you know. Oh, I thought it was low gravity for a second. I think the main reason I'm still on both is because I just haven't decided on which one to like stick to. I think I would have preferred Twitch, definitely, but then I ended up getting more of an audience on YouTube. And I know that a lot of viewers prefer YouTube much more over Twitch. It's like if I move to Twitch, which is what I would probably prefer, just because I tend to watch more Twitch streams than YouTube streams, but then like some people would probably not be happy about that, or like because they don't like Twitch or they don't have an account, which doesn't really matter too much. I mean, you don't need to make an account to watch streams, but I guess, you know, like the lurkers won't care about that, but everyone who talks in chat. If you don't have a Twitch account, then you have to deal with that. I think that the main thing that I like about Twitch is probably the channel points. If you don't know how they work, you basically, oh gosh, you know, I don't think now is the time. You, by watching the stream, you slowly gain channel points. And if you're watching more actively, you gain more. If you're subscribed, you gain more. And you can spend channel points on redeems that are set by the channel. And I just messed that up. YouTube API is terrible. I also heard, I've heard that like moderation tools are way worse on YouTube, which I don't have much experience with. The most moderation I've done is like banning bots, and like that's it. But the redeems can be, I mean, a lot of the times actually streamers have redeems that I don't like sound alerts or like random like pop-ups or things that the streamer will have to do. I prefer much more when streams are more focused. When it's like, today we are doing this one thing, and that is what the stream is, you know? Instead of basically like doing whatever they feel like. Because sometimes the redeems can be like doing an entirely different, maybe even playing a different game. So someone can just decide to redeem something to play a different game, and then now the entire stream is like changed. I don't like the idea of giving viewers that much control over what the stream is. But in general, I think like a lot of the time they can be distracting. And like notifications too. Like if like someone subscribes or follows and there's like a little notification that pops up and a sound effect. I'm not a huge fan of those. I think a pop-up is nice if you want to be noticed. If you don't want to be noticed, then they're annoying. I've honestly not followed to some streamers because I didn't want the pop-up to show up on stream. But if it's like a song that plays for like 10 seconds, like that is just annoying, honestly. If you give your viewers something else to do when watching you, then what you do may not be really engaging. That's actually exactly the way that I think about it. Especially if there's like bots in the chats. Not like bots created by the channel itself, you know. Where it's like something that you can engage with, like a little game, like a mini game. There's one that I know of with like the Pokemon, where like in the chat, like a Pokemon will appear and like you can like try to catch it, and then like one person in the chat will randomly catch the Pokemon. It's like, well, why are you like putting like little mini games in your chat? I feel like that just means that the stream itself isn't as interesting. Or like giveaways, or I don't know, like all that other stuff is like, you're trying to get people to watch the stream by distracting them with other stuff that's going on, like little rewards, little like, you know, events and stuff. And it's like, okay, what are you actually streaming then? And you know, I've only said negative things. I'm starting off by saying, you know, oh yeah, I like channel points, but I don't know what a good example is. I can't think of one immediately. I guess it really depends on how much chat engagement there is. Because if I had channel points, I don't know what I would like set as the redeems. But maybe if I was doing something unique, then it's like, okay, you can set the redeems to something related to what the stream is, and it's like part of the experience that allows for more chat engagement, instead of something that just distracts its viewers from what is actually going on. So maybe I don't care about that. But also there's a fundamental difference between Twitch and YouTube streams, and it's that YouTube is not a streaming platform exclusively. Well, I guess it depends on how you define streaming, but Twitch is only for live streams. YouTube is mostly for videos, and now shorts, I guess, which I don't really like, but you know, streams are just kind of there on the side. And you know, there's definitely streamers on YouTube, and actually I think they've become like more popular recently, despite Twitch existing. But you know, if you're looking for a live stream, you're gonna go to Twitch. If you follow a live streamer, you're gonna find them from like videos on YouTube, and then you're gonna go to their Twitch to like watch the actual stream. I think YouTube has made a big improvement by separating stream VODs and normal videos on a channel's like main page. So you're not like muddying up your main videos by streaming on the same accounts, which is like, that's a huge help. But you know, if you're going to YouTube, you're looking for like edited videos. You're not looking for like 2 hours of just like random stuff, you know. I suck at this. There we go. Is it about to rain? I actually didn't check the cycle time. I mean, that area is just a little bit darker than normal. No, it's not at all. Actually, I have plenty of time. We can mix it to the end. Oh yeah, I'm also not a fan of that. Like, let's have the chat on screen, let's have a banner at the top, let's have like an overlay around the entire edge of the screen. Let's have like a webcam too. I especially don't like when the webcam is like not overlapping the game. So it has to like push the game into the corner of the screen, and it has to be scaled down, so it makes everything a lot smaller. $56, definitely not. This is gonna be like a 52 or no, 50 like 3 around it, I think. I wouldn't continue that role. Go to the screen with the webcam and put the game in the corner. Right. That's the optimal arrangement. Don't forget the text-to-speech. Actually, text-to-speech just in general. But especially if it's for every single message in the chat, which I don't see too often, but it is the thing. But TTS messages in general are excessive, I think. You're basically just allowing one random person to also talk alongside the streamer, potentially at the same time, and you can't understand either of them. Yeah, not a fan of that. Or if it's like the kind where they just spam messages and the streamer just kind of gets used to it and you have like constant background noise. I'm just throwing, but I'm also trying to just be safe. You know, I've been trying to think about, since I started streaming, like what are ways that I can improve the stream. But I think that a lot of the ways that, you know, people typically think of like a higher quality stream are actually just like more just throwing stuff onto the stream that I think that might be unnecessary. So I haven't really found anything to change about the stream that wouldn't just make, or that wouldn't be I mean, I don't know what the word is. Like, I thought about having a chat overlay, but also, like, how necessary is that? And I don't know how to do it. And also, it kind of just covers the screen. If only, you know. If only. Let's play, Rivulet. I haven't played Rivulet in a while. It makes me feel like more of a show, having a bunch of extra stuff on the screen. I feel like there's places for that. In general, I think that like some content creators, when they become more successful, they end up becoming like too successful. I mean, it's good, it's great for them, but for a viewing experience, it can feel like it's like the budget is too high, you know? Like something that made them appealing at first was that they were doing everything by themselves. But if they start like hiring more people to make it like higher quality, then it like starts to lose the like original charm of the stream or the videos. You know? I'm doing very badly. Yep. You want to do wall hunts there. Just kidding, missed one of the fruits. Do you want to feature separating videos and streams? So like you could have the game, the chat overlay, and the webcam all on separate layers, and you could choose to like disable certain. I mean, why would you have the game on a different layer though? Like, do you want to just turn off the gameplay? Then like, why even bother with the stream? I guess if you're just listening to it, but then like, you don't need to see anything at all. Like small streamers, because you know they won't miss your messages. Yeah. Large streamers have this. The chat changes. It morphs with the size of the stream. There's a point where the chat moves so quickly that you have to make your message like a few words, or else it's like no one's gonna be able to read it. Not like anyone reads it anyway. And everyone basically just spams the same message anyway. So it's like, why even bother saying anything at all? Yeah, most of the improvement for me is getting better at feeling more comfortable with the whole process. Alternatively, you can solve it by reading. Yeah, if I just read every single message in the chats, then you're not gonna miss anything. If you're watching the VOD. YouTube VODs always save the chat. Twitch VODs get deleted after like a month or two. So I guess sometimes you'll miss the Twitch chat. Sorry guys, you will be erased in roughly 2 months. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what the length of it is. I feel like it changes depending on the streamer. 2 weeks actually. So it's either 2 weeks, 1 month, or 2 months. One of those options. I imagine that you have the ability to control it, or maybe it depends on like the size of the streamer. Potentially. Like bigger streamers get to save their VODs for longer. That feels like kind of a weird idea though. I mean, literally the other day I saw a streamer's VODs that were saved for 2 months at least. What is it for me? What is my oldest VOD right now? 2 months. Okay, so it's 2 months for me right now. I guess I haven't messed with the settings at all, if that is an option. Sorry about that room being really loud. Can you do the super bounce thing in gutter? I don't know. I never figured it out. I feel like I mean, okay, I'm not, I probably shouldn't say anything about this. The way the streams work now is that it's just setting the video information, right? Just one continuous video, basically. Having like different layers that you could like disable or enable whenever you want would either require that there's like multiple different videos, one for each like combination of layers, which sounds excessive. Or like you'd send individual videos and then overlay them to make like the final composition, right? So you would send actually that doesn't sound too bad, but it'd need to be like added functionality by the site itself. You wouldn't be able to like set your stream up to do that unless you had like multiple different channels streaming at once. Each one with a different layout. Yeah, that seems unnecessary because some of the layers are going to include information that is on like, a different layer, right? Like all the layers are going to include the game, so might as well just have the game be its own like layer, then you just put stuff on top of it. I have a feeling that there's not huge demand for that though. And it's like extra work for the streaming platforms, so they probably wouldn't do that. Show the chat and the inputs, yeah. I'm gonna change the stream to just be the input display, nothing else. I don't even think I can do that unless I had my own input display set up. The one right now is in-game. It's a mod. Hold up, I didn't lose anything. I lost time. Karma's still high enough. Yeah, you either need a throw boost there or like hug the wall or do like a perfect turnaround midair. Great. These stupid grapple worms. I never got a rock for an E-slide there. That was almost bad. Wait, hold up. I'm doing this wrong. You're supposed to jump from this platform. Like that, and then like that. Okay, it's been a while. Oops. Why did I do a pounce there? Dimension Gaming. I mean, it could work similarly to the way the chat works, the way that you can pop it out. You know, you can pop out the chat into its own window. So technically, you could just have all of the videos be separate, and then you could just pop them out and then arrange the windows however you want. Although that probably wouldn't, they wouldn't overlap very well. They are not like fully transparent. Although actually, there are ways to make the windows transparent completely, right? So that there's no like border around the edge. Unless I'm making that up. But then it's like, that's kind of jank. Covering the game now to avoid spoilers? Well, there's one use case for it. I am going to play through the entirety of Rivulet's campaign, so yeah, if you don't want to see that. I guess I'll avoid speaking about what's going on in the game. I think this kind of thing will be implemented eventually. Yeah, have confidence. I mean, the main reason I don't see that happening is that, like for Twitch, they would just need to... The streams just have more information, right? Because normally you could just take the whole thing into one big, like, video file and like compress it all and then send that as a stream, right? But if you have the individual components, you know, you have an entire, like, gameplay layer, which takes up the entire screen, that you need to, like, handle. Then you have like you know, the webcam layer or the overlay layer, or you know, the more layers you add, you know, that's just like more information. It's like, why bother with that when people aren't complaining about the way it works now? I guess like maybe like YouTube does it. Like I can see that slightly more likely. And then Twitch is like, well, now we need to like add this feature too to compete with YouTube. If it's a feature that people would care enough about where they're like, man, you know, I usually watch streams on Twitch, but this one feature that like 10% of people actually use a little bit sometimes, you know, that makes all the difference. Ow. But aren't those usually... actually, I don't know. I mean, I know of things where you can... Like a Twitch stream that like adds like a thing on the screen, right? But that's usually taken care of by the streamer themselves, right? They're the one actually adding it to the stream. But if that's the thing that like the viewer themselves can like have on their own end... Did I forget to use the cell earlier? I think so. Most of the new features... Oh, I'm starving. Well, that's unfortunate. What was I literally just saying? Like most of the features that I added to like Twitch and YouTube are like random things that are like pointless and no one really cares about. As long as just the base, like as long as the videos are watchable and interactive things work, then you know, people don't mind. Yeah, this guy is always here now. Forgot about that. I never mean to do that intentionally, but it just happens. Oh, really? Hold on, I'm just gonna do this, sorry. I don't want to reset. I mean, yeah, with like software stuff, you can just make changes instantly, and it just happens, you know. If you want to use traffic systems as an example, you know, that requires actual like construction on a pretty large scale in order for any like change to actually happen. I don't exactly understand the comparison that you're making here, though. Like, regarding the, like, potential, like, having multiple layers on a live stream that you can choose to, like, enable or disable as a viewer. That feels like something that can just be added to the stream and not something that needs to, like, work around the way that it, like, already works. Hello, welcome to the stream. We're just playing the game. I feel like it would just be a change that only needs to be made on the streaming platform itself, right? Like, what would need to happen? Twitch would need to add the functionality, and streamers would like have like a plugin that lets them like stream multiple layers, right? Maybe I'm not understanding how that would actually work, but you wouldn't need to like completely rework the way that like video files work, because you're just sending like multiple video files. Would you not? You would have the game file and the webcam file and the overlay file, and like that's it. I'm dead. You wouldn't try to like compress everything into one file and then somehow manage to like extrapolate the multiple layers from it. Oh, like I guess you could do that. Like a spreadsheet is like one big image with multiple different images on it, and it just takes different little segments from that one large image. You would just have one big video file with different parts, and you just cut out which parts you want for each layer. You would need a higher resolution. Actually, that doesn't sound too unrealistic, actually. But yeah, Twitch would have to make the most changes, and you would need some sort of way to convert your multiple layers into like one big video file. But that feels like one plugin on OBS. So I guess on like Twitch's side, they would just have to deal with like larger video files for the streams, larger resolutions, which is, you know, I mean, their like bitrate is pretty low. I guess they need to like handle about like more higher bitrate. I was gonna break the ability to change your profile picture. Somehow. I feel like, you know, even if that feature was implemented and people used it often, it might create like weird situations where the streamer would mention something that happens on the stream, but then some people would not know what they're talking about because they just can't see it because they have that layer turned off. Like webcam specifically, like maybe you don't want to see the webcam, it like blocks something important, but then it's like something funny happens in the background and everyone else talks about it and it's like, I didn't see anything. That's a pretty minor issue, isn't it? Ow. Brain damage. There's a small chance I don't have enough time in the cycle because I never changed that setting in remix options. Go down. Donut spear. Eternal Ordeal. Is that the Zote battle? Zotes the many. What was that? Okay, like no one's gonna get this. There was an old Google related social media, maybe. I don't even know what it was associated with. But there was one particular place where there was a bunch of little mini games where you could like take care of animals, or actually I don't really remember what the mini games were, but I remember one of them was specifically a tank of fish, and you could feed the fish, and like change like their colors or something like that. Like, what was that? Was that? Where was that? And does it still exist somehow? Also, where am I going? This is the monk route. And it's the end of the cycle. Okay, we're here. Stop the rain. Let's go the right way. I have been running monk recently, so I forgot to remind myself that this is in fact a different character that goes into the same area. Nice black bow. I don't know why I jumped there. I never done that before. I have a very consistent strategy for this room. Nope, let's try something else. For no reason. That's funny. How does this jump work? What jump? Was it the jump in that room where you like activate the cell and you like jump off of the pole? Or wall pouncing? What wall pounce? That one. My strategy is to jump off of the pole at the very top. Right? Actually, you do like 2 jumps off the pole. Like, you do like jump, you know. And then you wall jump off of one side, and then the other side, and then you hold up without holding any direction. I guess you can look back and check the input display if you want to see specifically what I did. But whenever you're climbing into a height from below, you don't want to hold like any sideways directions. You just want to hold up to climb into it. And so doing 2 wall jumps kind of sets you up in the right position to climb into the pipe easier. There's another way to do it that involves a backflip, and I think it's actually faster, but I never practiced it, so I'm not good at it. And if you mess it up and the cell timer runs out, then you have to wait for the next cycle, so I much prefer a more consistent strategy. But for the backflip, you need to like walk on the slope for a little bit. And then, I don't know, it's probably just like muscle memory. Just practice that a bunch, I guess. Oh, that was smooth. Whatever I just did there. That was not smooth. Yo, world record. Why was this run so bad? I guess I did almost die several times. And I also... Yeah, that was pretty much it. Whoa. That was interesting. What now? Hunter, maybe? Hunter's cool. Oh, maybe Artificer. I never did no creature runs of Artificer. I'll play Hunter. That kind of looks like what my browser does every once in a while, where there's just a huge visual artifact on the screen for a second. Except the moon's cloak. It did kind of have an interesting texture, didn't it? It kind of looked like just static though. I'm already throwing. Centipede, come here. The idea of speedrunning already again sounds unpleasant. Oh gosh. Actually, you know what? The idea of speedrunning again kind of sounds unpleasant. I don't know if I want to like try hard that again. I'm an animal well speedrunner now. Speedrun State. That one's fun. You know, maybe I'll do that after Hunter. Hold up. I'll grab this guy just with the formality of it. Is the music too quiet? It might be. Actually, can I talk about Animal Well now? I would like to know if anyone here is super sensitive to spoilers. Because I will still avoid spoilers, but I want to talk about some things about that game. Say better at Rivulet or Saint? Probably Rivulet. I really would need to like focus and like maybe practice a little bit more for Rivulets if I want to be confident about saying that. Minimum spoilers, yeah. So, okay, I'll speak very vaguely though. So in Animal Well, the whole game is separated into 3 layers. This is stuff that like the developer has said before the game even released, so this technically isn't a spoiler, but the game is basically 3 layers. The first layer is just the game itself. It's more like Metroidvania, you know, you go around, you like get items, you solve puzzles, and then you like, you know, you get to the end, and you know, there's an end of the game, credits, you know. That took me like 4 hours. It was very short. That was nice. There's actually 4, I wouldn't be surprised. The 4th layer that is so secret, they didn't even say anything about it. I'm throwing, and it doesn't really matter. So the base game, I guess is what I can call it. You know, the first layer. I really enjoy it. It might actually be my favorite layer. I know that whenever people talk about Animal Well, they're like, the secrets are so cool, the world is so cool to explore, like blah blah blah. I like the first layer honestly, because you know every new room you walked into was new. A new puzzle to solve, a new item to get, you know, it was constantly interesting stuff going on. The second layer is the eggs. So there's 64 eggs in the game, and they're like the secret little collectibles hidden around the world. You know, so think of it as like 100% completion. So like for a normal game. That is what 100%ing the game would be, collecting all the eggs. Do I own a printer? I have seen that. And yes, and don't say anything more about that because that's more spoilery. Even mentioning that at all is pretty sensitive. Anyway. Yeah. Because it raises a lot of questions. Anyway, let's not say anything about third layer. Well, actually, I will say something about it, but I'll leave that for later. Second layer, you're looking around for secret eggs, and they range from like, oh, they're like hidden in a wall, right? There's like a wall with like vines covering it. You go in and it's a little room with an egg, and it's like that's it. Wait until it gets to the point where you need a 3D printer. I wouldn't be surprised. I think it was like Fez, where you had to like make 3D models. There's like a puzzle related to that. Obviously you wouldn't need to make them physically, but the 7th layer. But anyway, parts of 2nd layer for me were pretty enjoyable, especially the new items. So I guess here's a minor spoiler. You keep getting items basically. You like unlock the 4 main items, and it's like, all right, these are like the upgrades that you get, so the Metroidvania, and then you keep getting more. The problem though, my issue with that is that with every new item that you get, you basically have to comb over the entire world again just to see what you can do with that item. In case you missed anything, you know. So think of it like, the way that I think of it is that every item in a Metroidvania is a key, and places that where you can use that item to progress, those are the locks, right? So, you know, maybe the upgrade is like a double jump, and it's like, okay, that lets you access all the areas that you couldn't make jump before, right? For Animal, that's the bubble wand that lets you jump around more. So it's like, okay, now that I have a double jump, let's check all the areas where there's a really high jump that I couldn't make it before, but now I can, you know? And you check all those areas, you like unlock new stuff, and maybe you get a new upgrade eventually. And that upgrade is a new key. And you search for new locks, right? The problem is, you know, when you're playing Animal Well, you don't initially expect there to be so many items. So you don't really keep track of the key or the locks. So you'll walk past plenty of locks without even noticing. You know, things that you can interact with items that you don't have yet. And so when you finally unlock that new item, it's like, well, shoot, do I remember every single lock in the game? The answer is no, obviously. So you need to search the whole world again, just to find the one place where you can use this item. Rivet could do a kickflip, probably. I mean, have you seen what Rivet is capable of? Obviously, because you're saying that. Anyway, the later items that you unlock have very limited uses. They're fun items. I really like all the items in the game. They're all super creative. For a Metroidvania, usually it's like a very standard set of upgrades. You know, you have your double jump, you have your dash, you have your roll or your crouch or your what is it called? The little ball that you roll up into, the morph ball. You have your like strong attack or your bombs or your you know, there's like a standard for like what Metroidvania upgrades tend to be. Maybe even have an upgrade for your dash that lets you go through like certain obstacles. Animal Well basically throws all that out the window, and all the items are super unique, and not what you would normally think of like as Metroidvania upgrades, but they are with the way the game works. But like some of the later game items are super obscure, and they only have like 5 use cases across the entire game. Obviously, I don't know the entire game yet. I don't know everything about the game. In fact, I don't think anyone knows everything about the game. That would be the case for a long time. So maybe some of these items do have uses eventually. But in my experience with the game, most of the items that you unlocked late on, they were just like 1 or 2 places where you could use the item. And if you missed those 1 or 2 places, you might have to spend a lot of time wandering around the entire world just to find those locations. And you don't even know if you need them to progress. They might just be eggs. It's like, oh yay, more eggs, but how do I get the rest of them? You know, where's the next item that I can use to make more progress? So honestly, that was probably my biggest complaint with the game. When it eventually got to the point where it was just wandering the world many times over just to find the one remaining like room that I haven't checked like fully. And that was just for the eggs, which is like the easy like secret ending, you know. it keeps going into the third layer, which the way that I describe the third layer is that it's more meta. Some of them are. It varies, you know. I have seen a few of the puzzles already, but it might be like keeping track of very small details in the background. It might be like a very unique interaction between certain items. It might be it might require like community collaboration. Like at least I'm aware of at least one puzzle that is impossible to solve on your own, and you pretty much require multiple people to get the full solution to the puzzle. So obviously those are like much more in depth. I'm generally not a fan, like, because the world is pretty small actually. Like it's very dense. That is the way that most people describe Anima well. It's very dense. It's incredibly dense. Every room, I wouldn't be surprised if every room has a secret. You know, every single little dark spot on the map that you haven't explored, there's probably something there. Which is annoying because if you want to find all the secrets, you have to like go back to rooms that you've already explored, and you may like have wrote off some rooms as like oh, I've already explored everything here. You know, I've explored this room like 10 times over with all my items. Surely there can't be anything left. And turns out you didn't have all the items, or you missed like one tiny little detail in the background, or you didn't notice that one of the things in the room was actually a lock, right? You know, so you like totally forget about returning to that room 10 hours later when it's actually required for this like for the solution to some random puzzle. You know, I'm sure for some people that's like very exciting, that there's so much depth to the game, and it's fun to watch as a spectator, but actually being the one to like solve the puzzles, especially on your own, without like basically being helpful from the community, because honestly, I think for the majority of players, the third layer, and maybe the second layer even, depending on how much effort they want to put in, but the third layer especially is basically just a Discord simulator. You're basically just going to go to the Discord or to YouTube just to find the solutions to the puzzles. That's basically what the third layer is, unless you really want to spend a long time searching the entire world several times over to find all the little hints that you can. Which maybe if you like that kind of thing, go for it. But I personally was pretty tired of it, even just for searching for the eggs. Should it be $25? That's a great question. It's probably worth it just because the game is unique. That's the way that I think about it. I always prefer uniqueness over quality. Although not necessarily. Obviously, like, quality is important. But there's some very, you know, high quality games where it's like, yep, it's all like very polished. It's all, you know, everything is good, but it's like I've seen it before. Who cares, you know? That's kind of how I feel about the God of War games, which I can't say too much about because I haven't actually played them. But they look like too good. Like the whole point of the game is that it's like perfected like some sort of formula. It's like if you follow this formula, the game will be good, but it ends up making the game feel kind of soulless, in my opinion. Whereas sometimes, you know, there might be games that have a few rough edges and maybe they're not approachable by everyone. You know, Rain World especially is not a very approachable game. If you were to give the game to a bunch of random people, all of them would give up at some point. But for the people that stick around, it's going to be a very strong experience, you know? I think that's more valuable. But, you know, my experience with Animal Well, I don't know if it was worth... I think I was more interested in getting it because it seemed like it could be a unique experience, you know? It could be the next Rain World, the next Outer Wilds, you know? And I never played Outer Wilds, so I'm always looking for opportunities to make up for that. What do I do here? What is the route? Hold up. I think you shelter immediately because you're supposed to have food already from eating a vulture. you know, that's how I feel about it. I don't want to miss the next Outer Wilds, basically. I already missed it the first time. I guess Rainworld maybe counts, but you know, the actual game itself, as in the like 3 to like 5 hours of beating the game, probably not worth that. But if you like secrets, then absolutely it is. If you like searching around the world to look for hints, maybe to write some things down in a notebook, leaving like markers on the map, check later. I should have done that more. Bro, this is Hunter's story. It's all objectives. It has like multiple names. That's what it was called in earlier versions. Basically, you need to talk to Pebbles, and then Moon, and then Ascend. Although maybe I'll get more out of Animal Well by speedrunning it. It's really, like, for Rainworld, I should have stopped playing this game a long time ago, but you know, I'm still playing it now. Any day now. Oh, are we back? Okay, it looks like it's good. Thank you. I guess OBS just died. Who would win, 2 scavs or 1 green lizard? Probably depends on the scavengers. They might be kind of stupid. A good scavenger can beat most creatures. But a dumb scavenger will die to most creatures, so you really have no idea. It's not like there's no standard for scavenger strength. Is 7 minutes chimney okay? I have no idea. I don't keep track of that kind of thing, but 7 minutes sounds okay. Another great question. Do the scavengers have an explosive speed? I think that's quite relevant. Should be like the song is too quiet. See, that was perfect. I think he reviewed it. No Slugcat will ever be reviewed. They will never achieve the same feats. Oh. So Spry's actual good culture and vault. I do feel like also for playing Animal well that it's really refreshing to be in a world where you don't need to pay attention to every little corner of the map. There's not really secrets in Rain World, right? Which is honestly, I've seen a lot of people be disappointed by that. They try to explore past the bounds of the map, only to run into an invisible wall and then be disappointed. Right? I've seen that quite often, especially with like Artificer or Revivits, you know, where you can gain heights really easily. Because normally the game is pretty good at keeping you in bounds, but then, you know, if you have a really high jump, it's pretty easy just to jump over. I don't even know what I'm doing. But I kind of appreciate that, because it's just the world. There's no secrets, there's no little rewards hidden around. It's just how it is, you know. What about the unlocked? Yeah, I guess the secrets are the mechanics. The fact that you can do sick tricks. Love the song. I love this song too. It's probably my favorite in the Downpour OST. Also, it's funny to watch speedruns of oh yeah, I was actually gonna say this earlier. I was like trying to keep up with Animal Well speedruns, which was very chaotic because there was like new records like every day, every few hours actually. And you couldn't even check what the record was because there's no leaderboards yet. It's just random YouTube videos. But there's two categories that I'm aware of. So, or I guess there's a lot of categories if you include like the like extra layers. But for just the first layer, for just beating the game, it's about to rain already. For just beating the game, there's two categories that I'm aware of right now. It's any percents and no major glitches, which is funny that's not really a thing for Rain World. You know, it's any percent and then like extra stuff that's like optional. But Animal Well has some crazy glitches, specifically wrong warps. There's ways you could just teleport across the entire map. And the current any percent route is literally just collecting a few items and then teleporting to the last room, the game, and that's it. That's the whole run. People have made comparisons between that and Elden Ring, and I don't know what they're talking about because I haven't seen the Elden Ring speedrun. So if anyone knows, I'd actually like to know about that. But apparently it is similar in the sense that you just teleport to the end somehow. It counts as a horror game? I wouldn't say so. I think it had some horror inspirations. And there are some moments, but not really. I wouldn't say so. Like, would you call Rain World a horror game? Because Shaded exists, which I'm heading to right now. Like, maybe it's a bit creepy, and depending on the individual, you know, it may be a lot more. But personally, it's like, not really anything. Not significant enough. Also. Trying to speedrun Animal Well gave me some new perspectives on speedrunning. And it's that for the most part, I've played Rain World knowing almost everything about the map. You know, knowing which path to take, knowing the movement for every individual room. It's like very intuitive at this point. Get out of here. If I want to get somewhere, I know exactly what the path, the best possible path is. Maybe not the best possible path, but like a very good path. I know how to, like, where to go. For Animal, it's like suddenly I don't know what to do. It's like I'm trying to, the very first attempt that I did, I'm actually surprised that I even made it to the end. I had to like sit still for a few seconds and think like, where am I supposed to go now? What is the next location? And I did actually mess up the routes quite significantly in a few parts, which is like, that's so new. I mean, actually, I did just accidentally take the monk store descent routes when playing as Reputed, so maybe I can't say that. Atmospheric, maybe. Maybe a better idea is that it's just kind of realistic. Like, there's some pretty creepy and, like, unsettling things for your life, you know. They're just kind of there. They exist. You know that they exist. And, you know, that's just how it is. You know, in Rain World, there are some pretty messed up things just in some corners of the world. But also, for the speedrunning thing, that's why doing practice runs is so valuable when starting out. To just know where to go, so that there's no hesitation, so that there's no like mistakes when it comes to like which rooms to go to. You just know like immediately, okay, to go this way and then go into this room, and then, you know, you'll spend a lot less time like being hesitant about your actions or trying to like remember what the path is. This becomes like muscle memory. Actually, Rain World is kind of a horror game in the sense that you might feel the fear of being chased by a predator. Oh, I want to do something here. which is a very pure form of fear. Wow, that was so fast and worth it. Animal Well has a little bit of that. Where it's like, oh shoot, this thing is trying to get me. And I'm very weak and I can't fight back. There is one thing that is somewhat like a common theme across Brain World, and it's shared between Hunter, the Echoes, and the Iterators of living for a very long time while everything around you decays, and maybe yourself too. And also, maybe not just a very long time, maybe literally forever. Like Hunter, specifically I'm referring to Hunter Longlegs, by the way. I assume that they've lived for a while. I mean, the DLLs are pretty durable, right? Yeah, the Iterators especially, they basically are like programs to not die. It's a funny way to do that. If only it was that easy, you know. I mean, even if they do, even if the entire structure collapses, they're still in there somewhere. Did he just die? He just died. That jetfish just died right in front of my eyes. Why did they do that? Yeah, I guess the Ancients too. Actually, that's just the entire game. But we don't see any Ancients now, do we? And most other creatures may have only limited memories of, you know, what has happened in previous lives. But the ancient or the Iterators are like a very obvious example where it's like, yep, they're here, and they will be here for a long time. And they don't want to. They may have cancer. But I think it's the Echoes that are the strongest example. The fact that they tried to escape and only were gifted with an even worse fate. Wouldn't it be neat if there was like a even more ancient Echo? Like an Echo from a previous civilization before the Ancients. We wouldn't be able to understand them, of course, but maybe they would look different. Because, you know, because we have the idea that there were a lot of Ancients, and that's all of them tried to ascend. Yet we only see like a handful of Echoes, right? Maybe the Echoes are multi-dimensional, and there's only a very small chance that they line up with our slice of the world. Actually, hold up. What am I doing? There's literally a dead jetfish. Ow. They got wombo comboed. Get out of here. I want this guy. Dude just sitting there and I'm like, I gotta eat these jellyfish. There's another dead jetfish. They're everywhere. The only predators are themselves. You think that they would have gotten used to it, you know, or adapted to it somehow. If it's just part of how they are to like ram into everything that they see, eventually they would like, they would get used to it. They, you know, like every other animal that gets used to ramming into things. Oh yeah, I need a shelter. Well, there's a shelter I can take on the way. Rain World is a strange game for sure. As garbage music plays in the background. That's why they're all dead for Saint. I have not stayed in this shelter that often. It's been a long time. You know, I don't know how I feel about doing an entire Saint run after this. I don't know about that anymore. It was probably enough. Don't you even have Karma 10? Right, because I forgot to get the wall echo. So I am still making routing mistakes, but no, it's echo routing for a category that I have played very little of. Get back here, dude. So I have an excuse. When you shelter on the wall, you're supposed to go back up. Or you're supposed to shelter on the wall and then go back up to get the echo. I just forgot to do that completely. And I have been forgetting to do that every time I run this category. Oops, actually, I don't want to drop this guy. I totally forgot. Get back here. Can't escape just yet. Speaking of echoes, well, it's a little bit late. Oh, were you talking about Kirby? Kirby games? I might have missed that message. Sounds like Kirby to me. Yeah. Wait. Slide paths here. And it goes too far. Maybe. Slightly shorter slide paths here. And normally there's like 3 dropwigs here and 2 centipedes and maybe some scavengers too. And then once you get here, it's more like cyan lizards, more centipedes. Oh, Plants vs. Zombies? Thank you, Jetfish. That's clean movement. Too niche. Sounds like a skill issue to me. What's one that I could do? I don't know. Hello. Welcome to Depths Movement. I'm not good at it. This is not a real run. I don't even know if I want to do real runs, honestly. I'm not really feeling like it. You can also tell because I don't have enough karma. This is not 80%. Yeah, I guess that's the time that I would have gone from, or that I saved from not getting the echo. And also from no creatures because this is Hunter. Oh, Undertale. I was so confused by that one. Because the head trauma is not really an important part of the game. You just kind of fall and that's it. And somehow you're fine. Maybe the whole thing is a dream and you're in a coma. There's definitely fan theories like that out there. Actually, for every game. You can apply that to everything. Everything is just a dream in a coma. Yeah, wall pounds. You guys just let me go. Yeah, let's go. I have done practice runs of Hunter's Story that beats the world record. but only by a little bit. So, you know, creatures kind of make it a whole lot worse. Wow, that one kind of hurts. That also hurts. That also hurts. Stop it, dude. Okay, I'm not a gamer. It's proven. How does naming a game spoil it? That doesn't make any sense at all. Or is it because you've already spoiled it and now you can't share the name because then we would know too much about it? Depth CI jumps. They are... I don't like them. I don't really like the depths, actually. I like the depths, but I don't like the depths, okay? And then what I mean by that is that for speedruns specifically, it's really annoying. But for specifically for one time, or the first time that you get here, on like your first playthrough, it is very magical. And kind of crazy that this like region even exists at all. But then you get here for the second time and the third time and then like a 100th time and it's like, yeah, I've seen this before. You can do a funny jump though, so I guess it's kind of okay. What is the world record? $48.21. So forget it. Ignoring the echo, this run is like, oops, I lost it. Like 35 seconds faster. That's not too much. Oh, that game. Okay, well that's probably, well, I could do something short. I could do like a couple of percent. Sure. I don't even know what to do with rain roll then anymore, really. Inventory. Yeah, with no creatures and no pre-cycle. That sounds great. Actually, it might not even be great despite that. Oops, I'm forgetting how to move. That was like monk food strategies there. And also, I think I shouldn't have eaten that fruit. I mean, they are two-dimensional, so that probably helps. Here's an idea for a mod. Every song is playing at the same time, but only near where the song trigger is. So maybe in this shelter, you could hear this song, the one that's playing right now. You could hear that to the right of you and down slightly, and slightly faded too, since it's a few rooms away. And you could also hear the other outskirts song that's to the left, a few rooms over. You could also hear that song faintly. And so whenever you walk by a trigger, you know, the music gets louder and louder, and so you pass it and it gets quieter and quieter. I guess you could kind of think of it as the music triggers being like speakers. They're just constantly playing the song on loop, but you can only hear it when you get close. Yeah. Whoa. What kind of person am I? Like the kind of person that practiced that jump for like several hours? I should have gotten the spear. I mean, I think anyone could mention an extremely niche game. That's how I feel. Sometimes the desire to make a reference, but then realizing that no one would get it because it's too niche. Nice one. I mean, here we all are playing Rain World. Like, who plays this game anywhere? But can I even remember what the route is? Yeah, I think I'm doing everything correctly. Just making sure. There are some pretty obscure games that I want to stream someday. I think that they deserve a little bit of a spotlight from like my 20 viewers total. I think some games deserve to be talked about more. Because there's like 1,000 like hour-long video essays on Minecraft or Hollow Knight or Undertale. And Rainworld, actually, it's included in that group. But for some like random game that you played like as a kid, like no one else is talking about it. I mean, some of them definitely are. There's some like popular nostalgia games, but like some of them are like, yeah, I was the only one. There's not the same kind of discussion about this. I think that if I was better at making videos, that's what I'd like the channel to be. Just bringing some discussion to some underappreciated games. Thanks, man. Yeah, that video. Very insightful. I mean actual videos that like have effort put into them. Yes, I'm going so fast that the creatures don't even have time to show up. No. I'm just using a mod. Imagine though. And that is a genuine strategy. Moving really quickly can, you know, get you past some creatures before they have time to get to a certain room. But a lot of time it doesn't make a difference. Oh man, the cursor's on the screen. Isn't that annoying? I wish I had a mod to disable it. I suck. I suck at the game. I need a spear. They're about to rain. Potentially. There's no items up here, are there? Nope. Cauldron Vault? I'll try it. Oh man, this is a difficult one. And I'll keep slipping off the edge. I don't even know if this is like the ideal spot to do it. I think so, because on the other side it's kind of too far away horizontally. Okay, I suck at the game. I'll just get a rock. Or a spear. Yeah, just a spear down here. That was not the right move. Good thing that it wasn't about to rain then. All these bat flies. And you're just walking through a storm of bugs, so you just can't stop accidentally grabbing them. And in fact, they actually keep flying into your hands from like several feet away. Yeah, maybe because I played Rain World so much, it kind of seems like I like more obscure games. But Rain World is a huge outlier. Other than the fact that it's a platformer, really. I should really pick up that spear. I think games like Terraria or Spelunky are probably more representative of what I tend to enjoy. Ow. Or Celeste. Actually, not really. Sort of. Celeste was very good, but I didn't really play it too much after like fully completing it. Where is why am I asking that? What is that one game? Cogmind. Yeah, Cogmind. I'm interested in that. Although it would be kind of out of my comfort zone to play a game like that, but it's intriguing enough that I might try it. It's like a traditional roguelike, but like slightly less text-based. I'm kind of also interested in the idea of a game that's like known as pretty challenging and just kind of jumping in and like eventually like beating it, you know. That's how I approached Spelunky 2, because I hadn't played the original Spelunky. And I knew like Spelunky is a very hard series. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to beat it, and it was difficult, and then I did beat it eventually, and that was a very fun experience, because it's you know, at first you're not really making any progress at all, but eventually you get through. 202 berries. Oh yeah, let me like beat all the most difficult levels deathless. Yeah, that's a reasonable thing to do. Very rough for a first. So I watched that one video. You probably know what I'm talking about already. It looked intriguing because it's not so simple where it's like kind of hard to understand what's going on. Because every single other traditional roguelike that I've seen, it's hard to even process what I'm looking at. And I'm sure that's something that you get used to the more you play those kinds of games. But it's like you have to understand like each individual character on the screen. Every symbol corresponds with some like something, maybe some enemy, maybe some wall or environmental feature that you can interact with. I don't know. But it seemed it looked like it was a little bit more clear what was going on in that game. And the whole mechanics with like the equipment system, that looks interesting. Looks like there was actually a lot of opportunity for like build variety, which I'm sure that that's also the case in other games. Also that it's more like sci-fi and less like fantasy, you know. Although my sample size of traditional roguelikes is like 3, so I shouldn't make too many comparisons. I'm sure that there's other sci-fi ones too. I don't know if that's a game that I'd want to stream immediately though. Maybe I'd end up trying it out, and after I get used to it at least a little bit, I would then stream it to attempts to like beat it or something. All these unlocks that I haven't gotten that reset the save file. If I do Monk's Story again, I'll have to reset it again. Unlocks will be here forever. Anyone know what Robocraft is? Just wondering. Nope. Getting killed by greed. That's like... It's a very sad game. That's how I think of it. It's kind of tragic. It's always the game that I think of that got like as like an example of a game that got ruined with updates. If you want a little bit of a perspective of what happened through that. Okay, do I want to explain like everything that happened? There's a lot to it. Basically, the game... Okay, very simplified explanation of what the game was is that you could craft robots. There you go, that's the name. You could build these robots and then go into a fight. It was like a team-based battle where it's like 10v10 or something around that. And it was like elimination style, so you just needed to defeat everyone else on the other team to win. Or you could like, there's like a base, and if you stood on the base for a long time, you could like capture it, and that you could also win. Very like short matches, because if you got like damaged, like your parts of your robot could be destroyed. you could lose your wheels, you could lose your guns, and basically just become useless. That was honestly really fun, just being stuck in the corner of the map because you lost your wheels and you couldn't move. Whoops. But anyway, there's this tier system. And this tier system was basically, depending on the strength of the components on your robot, you would be placed into a different tier. And, you know, each component had many different tiers of strength. So, like, each gun would have, like, tier 1 to 10. The wheels, the blocks. Because it was, like, a grid-based building system. So you basically build the robots out of blocks. And, like, higher tiers would have more health, more damage, all that. But also, each tier had new components. So, at, like, tier 5 or something, you unlock, like, wings. And now flying robots became a thing, like tier 5 and above. Different weapons get introduced. So like plasma launchers were like these like grenade or like artillery kind of weapons, sort of, I guess you could say. Those were introduced in like tier 3, I think. Railguns were these like sniper rifle like weapons. Those were tier 4, and you know. So like as you go on the tiers, it's not just the numbers get higher. It's that more and more mechanics get added. What ruined the game was a sequence of updates that was kind of following a roadmap that developers had, which was unfortunate. It was an unfortunate plan for them. I don't remember the exact sequence of events. But one of the early updates that kind of marked the start of the end was, I think it was called Full Spectrum Combat. Something like that. Basically, it let you... Hold up, am I getting things wrong? One of the updates removed tiers, essentially. The whole system behind like progression in the game that I thought was so fascinating. Because the blocks that you could build your robots out of, they had different colors, right? It was like white was tier 0, and then brown. Can't remember the order. White, brown, green. I might have skipped one. Brown was tier 1, green was tier 3. What was tier 2? Or was green tier 2? Shoot, I don't actually remember. No. Tier 1 was brown, tier 2 was green, tier 3 was cyan, tier 4 was like orange, tier 5 was pink, dark, and then it was like dark blue, yellow, red, purple, and then black. Loot boxes. So okay, another aspect to the game's downfall was loot boxes, which that's unfortunate. So instead of like the way it used to work is that you would you'd win a game or lose a game, but you would gain money depending on your performance, and you would spend the money to just buy more components, and that was that. And you could like reuse components for multiple robots and stuff, but eventually they changed to loot boxes. There was another update that just removed tiers completely. There were still tiers, like there was like tier 1 through 5, I think, for each of the weapons. But it was more of a like playstyle thing. Like the low tier weapons would like shoot faster, and they were like cheaper, so you could put more of them on your robot. But then the higher tier ones, they were like much stronger, but you could only have a few of them, and they had lower fire rates. So it was more of like a playstyle decision and less of a like progression thing, you know. Which means the entire progression of the game was just completely gone. All the tiers were basically just one tier at that point. And just like a lot of other features were removed. It's like the whole progression of like going up, trying to like rise the up the ranks, you know, like get enough money. Like if you're in like tier 3, you know, you would need to like try to win enough games to get to like get enough money to buy and unlock some tier 4 components, which you would slowly add to your robot to make it stronger until you finally reach tier 4, where suddenly you're really weak again in these tier 4 games. You need to, you know, get enough money to buy some better tier 4 components, maybe some tier 5 components, and you know. I only ever made it to tier 8, I think, which was sad because I really wanted to make it to tier 10 because there were some crazy things that went on in those tiers. But I never made it. The update came out before I got there. And it's kind of a sad situation because it's impossible to play that older version of the game. I mean, actually, it isn't. There's this little secret community who've like kind of revived the old version of the game, but it's so it's like such a small thing. It's not really the same. Anyway, the unfortunate thing about that is that it's an update. You know, if there's a game series where later games in the series end up like being a lot worse. Oh, the Vulture Mask, I just spawned in the Vulture Mask. More mods. Here's all the mods that I have enabled. But like, if it's a game series and then like the third game in the series is like really bad and disappointing, and like each future game is like kind of underwhelming, you know. But if it's, you know, you could still go back and play the first 2 games and be like, oh yeah, these are the classics, these are the good ones. Cough cough, Paper Mario, cough cough. I'm sure the new ones are fine, but yeah, people especially like the old Paper Mario games. But it's not like you can't play them anymore. Like if you really want to, you can find a way. With Robocraft, the old version of the game does not exist anymore. It got updated, and the old version just vanished. I guess they lost the code or something because they also said that they can't revert it to the old version. It's like, yeah, that's just, you know, you can like watch old videos of it and sort of like experience it that way. But I remember like being really creative with like stupid robot designs. I think you mentioned it. Like I had a robot that was like 6 blocks, some rudders, like a thruster, and like one really strong gun. It was this tiny little flying machine. But you could, since it was so small, you could fit a really high tiered weapon on it and bring it down into the low tiers. You could put like a tier 5 plasma into like a tier like 3 game, and it would like one-shot people. Probably not very balanced, but it was those are fun. Another strategy I had was like a stick, basically. It was like an eye shape, and it was covered in thrusters, so it was super maneuverable, and you'd it would like it was super fast and mobile, and you could put some pretty strong guns on it and also go into the low tiers. You could also literally put down a single plasma launcher, and that would be your whole robot, and the recoil from the gun would push you around. I did that a few times, but my team was probably not happy about that because, you know, while you're trying to like be serious and win games, your teammates are like a single cannon. Forces you to play meta. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I definitely did not play meta too often. Did a lot of just messing around and just doing dumb strategies. I don't know how many multiplayer PvP games there are with a progression system like that. I feel like it's super unique. It was. You have to speak in past tense. But yeah, it made balancing kind of a pain. I think some of their main motivations for changing the game the way they did was for balance reasons. And I'm gonna end the stream very soon. I just want to finish talking about this. Because I think there were some meta strategies like spamming weapons on your robot. You basically just become a huge brick, like covered in guns, and you would be like, no matter how much damage you took, you would still have enough firepower to win every battle. I think that might have been a meta strategy. There was another one where you'd like have a flying machine that was like all the flying components were stuck inside a cage, so that people couldn't really hit you out of the air. Robocraft 2 is the thing. Are you referring to the first version or the second version? Because the second version is like in development, and they're saying that it's going to be more similar to the old version of the game, right? I don't know how to feel about that, but I hope they figure it out. I don't know, I was just reminded of that game because of the Cogmind, like that has like a component system, right? Do I believe them at this point? Probably not. It's been 8 years. We've been waiting so long. Also, oh, it's literally the menu music playing in the playlist. I was kind of confused for a second. It felt so natural. I'll see. I'll observe from a distance. And maybe they figure out something. As for me, I don't really know what to do. I guess I'll do more Hunter, right? I can practice that a bit more. I have some other plans too. I think I want to do that next week. But anyway, that's it for this stream. Thanks everyone for watching. See ya.